virtual school. Just as you all know, in Studio and Media Arts class, I made this great looking PowerPoint. It's called How to Drive Safely, and I'll discuss the rules and regulations about how to use the road safely.
Google presentation, not PowerPoint.
I use Google presentation to make this, not Microsoft PowerPoint.
I don't know, come on, we need audience members.
Not PowerPoint.
This is Hansu, he's in the high school.
No, stop.
There's more. Hansu, try to touch this here and see if it goes. There you go. Don't do the arrows, it's harder, just go touch your finger.
Driving in rain, fog, and snow. If the weather is going to be bad and if it's going to be rainy, you must have fog lights installed on your car. So the drivers of other cars and other large vehicles can know where you are. And before a snowstorm hits, if you drive, you need to have good snow tires, and you always must clear ice and snow from your car. When the road is slippery, you should drive slowly.
Hansu, did you know you get a ticket if you don't clear off the ice and snow?
Yeah. Yes, you can get it if you didn't clear any ice or snow from your car. You can get a fine or a ticket by a police officer.
Why would we want them to clear ice and snow
Because
from the car?
flying ice and snow, it can hit other cars. It can hit other vehicles. This is a big issue. Alcohol and driving. So if a driver has many drinks of alcohol and they get on the road, see, alcohol, it makes your judgment impaired. Your judgment impaired, and the driver would most likely make the wrong decision. In New York State, the legal evidence of blood alcohol intoxication is 0.8. So.
Okay, go ahead. You know what it is? When your smartboard, this is smartboard, your smartboard is not mounted properly, which it isn't here, you were right against the wall, it shakes. And when it shakes, we lose our precision. So we want to go, I'll help you over here, okay, sweetie?
Using a handheld phone in driving. This is another traffic violation, using a handheld phone while you drive. When you're behind the wheel, if you receive a call or a text message, do not answer it till later. Like, do not answer it while you're in the middle of driving. So you must wait until you reach the destination so you can answer your phone call or your text message that you received.
You know, Hans, I was thinking about you the other day. I was driving home on Route 87, and they have a new motto: phone in one hand, ticket in another.
Yeah. If you're caught, you can get a $150 fine. And phones can be a big distraction because if you're texting on the phone, you might not be unaware of, if you approach an intersection, you might run past the red light and not be aware of the other car that is coming. Driving safely in work zones. When you approach a work zone, you see a sign with an orange and black symbol. There's a flagman at a work zone. Sometimes he holds a flag to divert traffic away from a work zone. Do not speed in work zones. You must slow down and obey what the construction worker holding the flag says. You must obey his hand signals.
Hansu, did you know that they double your fine if you speed in the work zone?
Yes. If you speed in the work zone, the fine is like doubled. The fine is like a violation of traffic. Drowsy or fatigued driving. If you're tired, attempting to go behind the wheel is dangerous. It can cause an accident. In order to prevent that, you must all get a good night's sleep before you get behind the road, and you always must avoid alcohol and other medications, prescribed or unprescribed.
Excellent.
Aggressive drivers. Aggressive drivers, they can violate the speed limit and run stop signs and stop school buses. So, if you are confronted by an aggressive driver, just ignore the situation. Do not get involved. Do not get involved in the conflict. I put in, you should avoid eye contact and stay calm and relaxed.
Right, you should close your window too.
And the next thing is you should close your windows.
And then you can call 911 if somebody
Then you
gets
can-
road rage, right?
Yes, and you can call 911.
Road rage.
Road rage. If a driver is driving too aggressively, it can lead to road rage. A road rage is when a driver has a violent behavioral fit. And sometimes the driver would attempt to go out and threaten other drivers. And it is against the law to go into a road rage. If you're caught going into a road rage, you can get suspension of your license. A railroad crossing sign. When you approach a railroad crossing, you see this one or the marking on the pavement with a big X with R and R in between. If you're following a large commercial vehicle like a tractor trailer or a public transportation or a school bus, you must slow down, reduce speed.
Excellent.
Obeying signals at a railroad crossing. The approximately safe distance to stop is behind the white line. The automobile length to stop is 15 feet away from the tracks. Do not attempt to beat the train from the crossing. Do not attempt to beat the train to the crossing. It can be dangerous and it is illegal to grab the lowered gates. If you go around the lowered gates and if there's a police car on the other side of the crossing, the driver who went around the lower gates, he or she can get a ticket because it's a violation of traffic. School buses. Every morning, if you go to work and you see a school bus flash out the stop sign, stop. Wait till the driver retracts the stop sign. The safest distance to stop from the bus is 20 feet away. And if you pass a stopped school bus, it is a violation of the law and to others.
You know, Hansu, I'm glad you taught me that because I do stop, but I'm definitely not 20 feet away from the bus, so thank you for teaching me that.
Yeah, so the safest way to stop is 20 feet. Seat belts. Before you go on a road, before you enter the car to go somewhere, you always have to put on your seat belts. A driver has to make sure that the passengers in the car have seat belts. Seat belts, buckle up. The state law is that every driver and passenger should wear a seat belt when you operate a vehicle. Seat belts save lives. You need to buckle up all the time when you're going for a long road trip. You need to buckle up. Airbags. Airbags are meant to work with seat belts. Airbags will protect the driver from a head-on collision. You must place your hands on the opposite side of the steering wheel, and you need to keep them out of the way when the airbag deploys. This is see in this picture, this is an illustration of how it works. The crash sensor picks up the crash. It goes to the inflator, and nitrogen gas forms, and the airbag deploys. Never, ever, ever have a child or a toddler sit in the front of the car when the airbag deploys. That could be dangerous.
Why?
Because
Think of the force of the airbag.
Because the force of the airbag is very strong.
And a little child.
And a little child is very weak.
Right, fragile.
Fragile.
Can't handle that impact.
Yeah, little children and toddlers cannot handle the impact of the airbag. Warning signs. There are a lot of warning signs. The ones you see mostly are yellow. Like this is a deer one, this is a bicycle crossing one, and this is a pedestrian one. Like you must obey the warning signs. It means that you are approaching a hazardous location, and you must reduce speed in that area.
Hansu, I'm glad you showed me this because there's so many caution signs that I didn't even know what they mean, and now I can now.
Stop sign. A stop sign, it's a hexagon-shaped sign with the white letters S-T-O-P. It means you're approaching a pedestrian crossing. If there are people crossing, you must stop. If there is no stop line if there's no stop line or crosswalk, you must stop at the nearest intersection. A work area. A work area would mean it's the same. A work area is like a work zone. If you approach a work zone, you must reduce speed according to the sign, or there can be a flagman who is directing traffic away.
Sorry.
Emergency vehicles. If you see an ambulance, fire truck, or police car, you must pull over to the side and let them pass. Make sure you mute the radio so hearing can be more easier. Passing on the left. You need to be careful when it comes to passing. You always have to check your front and rear view mirrors, and you need to see if the conditions are right. Sometimes it can be dangerous because it could interfere with oncoming traffic. You need to make sure the conditions are right to pass another vehicle. Passing other vehicles. When drivers want to pass other vehicles, you should always use caution. You need to check your side and rear view mirrors. Like if you want to pass a truck, make sure you don't stand behind. Make sure you stay on the side so the driver of the truck can see you very easily. And you need to always use your blinkers. That means you're signaling that you're changing lanes or something.
Nice job, Hansu.
Avoiding collisions with deer. This has been a big issue in New York. You must always use caution when you see a deer on the road. Deer are mostly active during dawn and dusk. That is when deer are most active. Deer are animals. They travel in herds because I understand deer migrate a lot, and some public roads and highways have deer crossings which have been marked with a yellow and black diamond sign with a picture of a deer on it. That is where having a large number of deer vehicle collisions.
I was just going to go back, Hansu, because I thought, well, at one of your slides you did have the deer slide. The picture of watch out for deer crossing.
You need to also share the road with pedestrians, skateboarders, and bicyclists. I put in that they're the highest risk of traffic. You must always be very careful when skateboarders, cyclists, or pedestrians use the road. This is right because these two vehicles have stopped for pedestrians to cross by. This is wrong. A skateboarder is behind a moving car, and sometimes the skateboarder in this picture may not be unaware of the car that's behind it. And see, this is wrong too. The driver of this car is letting him go first instead of the cyclist. The right thing he should have done is wait behind and wait for the cyclist to pass.
Hansu, you are going to ace your driving test.
Bibliography. This information was obtained from the Motor Vehicles Manual. I studied all of it when Christine told me to study for the permit test. Maybe my homeroom teacher Christine can use this presentation to help some of the high school kids who need their permit test so that they can study off of it.
I would love that.
Everybody, thank you very much for watching.